If true, this changes everything for the New York Knicks, as there's been a lot of discourse about the New York Knicks shopping some guys at the trade deadline, and Jericho Sims has recently been the guy to come up as he does want to trade out of New York, and The Athletic proposed an absolute heist for the New York Knicks that both The Athletic's Knicks writer and James Edwards and The Athletic's Pelicans insider both believe would be a huge move for each team. And before we jump into all of that and break that all down, guys, if you're part of the 68% of people watching this who are not subscribed right now, make sure to subscribe if you want daily New York Knicks updates on rumors, injuries, fun discourse, fun live streams, all that stuff. But let's jump into the video as we always do, because the New York Knicks, we know they are shopping a lot of different players for this team, specifically Mitchell Robinson and Jericho Sims. Though it seems like Mitchell Robinson will be sticking around with the New York Knicks, at least that's my opinion on things. We could certainly see, and I think we will see, Jericho Sims and potentially even Precious Achiuwa getting traded. But I do for sure think we will see Jericho Sims get moved. And The Athletic, they proposed the deal that would work out so well for the New York Knicks. It would absolutely be a steal, a heist, whatever you want to call it. That's what it would be for the New York Knicks. It would be a massive win. That's seemingly a no-risk, high-reward move for the New York Knicks. And that move would be to trade Jericho Sims for Javonte Green. Straight up, these two guys make $2 million each, and James Edwards proposed this deal, and this just makes perfect sense to me. Now, taking a look at what Edwards said he thinks this team needs another rotation wing/guard as much as it could use a really good defensive center, and this would be a low-cost way of addressing that. Green has been solid for the Pelicans as of late. He plays hard and has shot 36% from three in his previous 4 seasons. Though the volume has been low, Sims has had really good moments defensively and still is young, but the writing is on the wall in regards to his future in New York, and that could not be more correct. You take a look at Jericho Sims and you just understand it's just his time in New York is passing. His career stats are lower than they've been. He hasn't broken into the rotation consistently since Precious Achiuwa came back. He does start games when Karl-Anthony Towns is out, but outside of that, we really don't see Jericho Sims very often playing big minutes. Outside of games that Karl-Anthony Towns might not play, only averaging 1.8 points per game and 3.7 rebounds. In inconsistent minutes, his PER is below average, his points and rebounds are below average, his field goal percentage is below his average. All of that has led to Jericho Sims wanting a trade to where he could get a more consistent job. And that, for me, screams New Orleans like it does with James Edwards, who broke down why it would be a great move. Now, also, jumping back in and taking a look at Will Gilroy's breakdown and why it's a good move for the Pelicans, he said he thinks it's a deal that could make sense for both sides. While Yves Missy's breakout rookie season has been a major win for the Pelicans, they could still use some more youth and athleticism in the front court. A Missy-Sims combo could give New Orleans cheap, reliable options at center and make it easier for them to spend elsewhere on the roster. It would also clear out a path for the Pelicans to dump Daniel Tice's contract so they can get under the luxury tax, which the Pelicans desperately want to do. Now, in case you guys didn't know this, kind of a niche thing if you're not from New Orleans, the people who own the New Orleans Saints also own the New Orleans Pelicans. They bought them after the owners of the New Orleans Pelicans went bankrupt and sold the Pelicans back to the NBA. This is back when they were the Hornets. The NBA rigged the draft so Anthony Davis could go to the Hornets, but that is not really a video for Knicks Digest. I could always talk about it on a live stream or something if you guys want, but not right now. We have something else to talk about with this Jericho Sims move, and I think this trade would just be perfect for each side if you ask me. The Knicks do need a wing, and they don't need Jericho Sims, especially with the fact that Mitchell Robinson is coming back. Robinson is a career 8-8 guy who does everything that Jericho Sims does, but better. Jericho, he's not confident on the offensive end. Mitchell Robinson, a better defender than Jericho, and he's way more confident on offense. We see Mitchell Robinson go up with zero fear. I mean, the man catches lobs. He gets offensive rebounds. And unlike how Jericho Sims pulls down a rebound and hesitates and usually kicks it out, the second Mitch gets the rebound, he's looking right back up at the hoop. Mind you, we're seeing a game from Mitchell Robinson where he had the most points all season last year of his season, where he had 15 points. And this is when he was still dealing with that stress injury that he came back early from to help the Knicks in their contending for an NBA Finals. Now, Mitchell Robinson looks absolutely phenomenal destroying the Brooklyn Nets, but they are the Brooklyn Nets, and that does need to be taken into account here. But, you know, the Knicks and Nets actually played last night as well. But in all honesty, I'm filming this video right before the game, so I do not know who won, but we're just going to say the Knicks won because, well, let's be honest, the Knicks are going to win the game anyway, and as you guys know, the Knicks did win because you're watching this on Wednesday morning, or just sometime on Wednesday. Or after this Knicks-Nets game, honestly. I don't know when you're watching it, but it's definitely not before the game. It's not coming out. This video is sitting on my desktop until then. But look, obviously, this would be a very interesting move for each side. I love the idea of this. And now Yves Missi, someone who's going to be the starting center for the Pelicans for the foreseeable future, is having a great season, and Jericho would be his primary backup. Yves is putting up 9.1 points per game with 8.2 rebounds and 1.5 assists. He's also getting 1.5 blocks per game. Great PER. The man has jumped out as an excellent draft pick for the New Orleans Pelicans. The Cameroonian big man, just a force to be reckoned with. Big guy, really athletic, just gives teams what they want out of a true center. Yves Missi's a very talented player, and Jericho would get to be the main backup for him, and Leon Rose wants to move Jericho Sims because the Knicks don't need Jericho Sims once Mitchell Robinson is back, and Mitchell Robinson should be practicing with the Knicks within the next 10 days, so it really just is going to push Jericho Sims so far out of the rotation that it's not going to make sense to hold on to him, and that trading Jericho Sims would just make way more sense at this juncture. Jericho's even said that he kind of wants to trade out of New York. Well, he didn't specifically say it, but it was revealed by Steve Popper that Jericho Sims would prefer a trade out of New York as he wants a bigger opportunity. The Pelicans give him that opportunity, and the Pelicans are a team that like to throw lobs. I mean, for instance, DeJounte Murray loves to throw lobs. With Zion Williamson being there, it creates a very fun lob tandem in Jericho Sims, in Zion Williamson, that would play very well in transition. And I think it's a team that Jericho would fit on really well, honestly, if you ask me. He also went to college in Texas. Louisiana's not that far from Texas, so there's also that. He'll be in an environment that he kind of is familiar with. And also, it gives the Pelicans a cheap option. So I think this would be an excellent move. And also, it just makes all the sense in the world. I mean, the Knicks could land Javonte Green, who would be an excellent pickup. He's putting up 6 points per game with 3.5 rebounds, shooting 46% from the field and 38.5% from three. 44% on corner threes, some of the best corner three-point shooting in the NBA, something the New York Knicks take a ton of, as you could hear the corner three sirens out there, because Javonte Green, it's hard over height for him. He's only 6'4", but he plays bigger than that. He's a great defender. He gets over 1 steal per game, also nearly gets 1 block per game. He's an energy guy. He should be on a win-now team. The Pelicans have 0 wins on the season, pretty much. So it really just, given they did have a great comeback last night, but that's beside the point. Look, Javonte Green would fit perfectly on this New York Knicks team, and Jericho Sims finds a better home on the Pelicans team. Maybe the Knicks do have to throw a second-round pick or 2 second-round picks towards the Pelicans to get this done, but it's a deal that they absolutely should do. The Knicks still have Precious Achiuwa while Mitchell Robinson is on his way back, and they also have Ariel Hukporti, who they could use, though it seems like Tom Thibodeau doesn't really want to use the rookie too much, so we'll see about that. But Achiuwa putting up 5 and 5 with a block per game is also useful, and the Knicks can use him, and they usually have used him as their main backup guy. And the only real wing they have who's not in the starting lineup is Landry Shamet, who's averaging around 3 points per game, but not shooting too well right now, and the Knicks need some more shooting and more defense, and Shamet's defense has been a pleasant surprise so far in these limited minutes, but it is going to make more sense when the Knicks could use a guy like Javonte, who just this season for sure clears Landry Shamet. And Javonte Green, Tibbs would just love him because he's so high energy. Man will play as many minutes as you need him to. He's a dog. He just wants to be on a contending team, which he hasn't been able to be on yet. So it would be huge for Javonte Green to find his way to a contending team like the New York Knicks, where the Knicks just put themselves in a perfect position to succeed long term. And in case you guys are wondering, Javonte Green is going to get traded off the New Orleans Pelicans by someone. As mentioned here, the New Orleans Pelicans forward Javonte Green caught the attention of multiple NBA teams at the trade deadline. And, I mean, as Javonte said, I'm just trying to go out there and try to win. Maybe make winning plays, play as hard as I can, and just be a professional. It's everything that screams the guy is perfect for the New York Knicks. It's a very low-key trade the Knicks can make that I think would have a massive impact on the team, and I think it would lead to them winning more games. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me know down below. Should the Knicks make this trade? I don't see how you say no to this deal if you're the New York Knicks. It's just a perfect deal. Knicks and Pelicans insiders think it's like it could be believable and that could happen. So hopefully it does. I would love this trade. I think it's a very sneaky move the Knicks could make to just add a few wins to their team this season and take a little bit of minutes away from Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Josh Hart. Specifically Josh Hart, because Javonte is definitely reminiscent of him in some ways, where the Knicks can then rest their wings and forwards, their starting wings and forwards a little bit more and save them for the playoffs, where Javonte would be able to carve out a nice role for himself as well as one of the best defenders the Knicks would have off the bench. Just helps the bench out so much. It's just such a win for the Knicks. I could go on and on about it, but you guys let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. When you're watching this, as I said, it will be Wednesday, so happy hump day. We're almost there. We're almost at the weekend, guys. Go Knicks.